And thank you, Leslie Gray Streeter, for that awesome interview, for being our last guest on the finale edition of Eddie's podcast. Now we're going to turn our attention to the Jackie segment, where we are going to discuss the final episode of the Clone Wars. Not only the season finale of season 7, but the very last episode.
I am C-3PO, Human Cyborg Relations, and you are? Too late for that. Eddie's podcast is on, and it's time to listen to Jackie discuss the Star Wars universe. The possibility of successfully navigating this intricate discussion is approximately 3,720 to 1. Oh dear, we're doomed!
If you look at the Star Wars timeline, this episode is actually happening at the same time as the Anakin Obi-Wan Kenobi fight on Mustafar.
So we left Ahsoka and Rex trapped in a medical room with the droids as the clones were trying to get into them. Order 66 has been triggered, and as we know from the prior episode, Ahsoka was able to fix Rex so that he was not under Palpatine's control, so he was helping her and protecting her. So here they are trapped in this medical bay with the droids that are helping them. And as they battle their way out of this room, they're trying to make their way to the shuttles so that they can escape. Ahsoka and Rex is kind of like, wait, it looks like Maul escaped. And Ahsoka just kind of casually throws back over her shoulder, oh no, I just let him out because I thought we needed a diversion. Which kind of threw Rex a little bit, but there was a lot more to deal with. And then we cut immediately to this amazing scene of Darth Maul making his way down a hall, very Darth Vader-like. He's fighting a bunch of clones. He doesn't have a lightsaber at this point or any kind of weapon except for the Force and, you know, whatever he can throw at the clones. It is, as I've said in so many of these synopsises, gorgeous. The cartoon imagery is just absolutely gorgeous. There's lots of Force strangling of the clones, lots of throwing clones up against the ceiling. He doesn't have any lightsaber. He doesn't have any real weapons, and he manages to get through a slew of clones.
Maul then disables the ship that they're on by using the Force to disable the hyperdrives. Rex and Ahsoka make it all the way to the control room, and they set the astromech droids to finding out what's going on. They discover the hyperdrives are gone and the ship is slowly being pulled into the gravitational pull of a moon. They unlock the shuttle doors, and when the bay doors open, they discover hundreds of clones protecting the shuttles.
Ahsoka will not hurt clones if she does not have to. She tells Rex that she refuses to be the cause of the clones' death, and so she comes up with a plan. The respect and love that Ahsoka has for the clones is so huge. And this moment where she refuses to kill them, despite the fact that she's really protecting herself, because these clones are on a mission. They have orders, and they're going to kill her or capture her no matter what. But she doesn't care. And this moment is probably one of the most Ahsoka moments of the Clone Wars, where she takes off Rex's helmet and holds his face and tells him, you're a wonderful warrior and a wonderful friend, and I'm not going to kill these clones. So I have a plan, and I hope it's a good one. And it's just such an honest moment with Ahsoka. And it's just, yeah.
Rex and Ahsoka walk towards the clones. It looks like Rex is capturing Ahsoka. Then he tries to argue that Ahsoka is not a Jedi. Cheap, the droid, who sounds just like Chopper from Rebels, and I think what ties him to the Rebels is basically he's a C1 series astromech, and makes the same kind of sounds as Rebels, but then he gets involved.
It doesn't take long for the clones to get tired of Rex's arguments, so the fight begins. And what Ahsoka has had the droids do is open up this pit underneath the floor that they're standing on. So probably a half to 2/3 of the clones just drop into this pit. And as that helps to clear the way to the shuttle, Ahsoka and Rex try to fight their way through the remaining clones to the shuttle. But guess what? Darth Maul basically had the same idea, and what they're actually doing is clearing the way for Darth Maul. And Ahsoka realizes what Maul is trying to do, kind of leaves Rex to try to fight off the clones while she's trying to fight Maul from getting to the shuttle. So it becomes quite an intense battle. It's another one of these just tremendous battle scenes that really takes your breath away. Ahsoka, who was never even a full-fledged Jedi Knight, battling both Darth Maul, who has incredible training, and the clones.
Maul gets into the shuttle, and Ahsoka tries to hold him by using the Force to no avail. She just can't fight the clones and save the shuttle, so Maul escapes.
Rex, Ahsoka, the droids, and the clones are fighting on literally a sinking ship. The ship that they're on is being pulled into the moon, as you said, and it is, being pulled down faster and faster. They know they do not have a lot of time to escape. The clones capture the droids and destroy a couple of them. Ahsoka takes the Force and throws Rex into the shuttle at the last minute, but she can't get to it because the ship explodes. So as the ship explodes, the shuttle that Rex is on is disgorged, and he has not, gone through the starting sequence and all the stuff we've seen on all the Star Wars movies and shows for years and years. He's just thrown out of the ship, unfunctioning shuttle. So he's doing his best to get the shuttle started and keep an eye on Ahsoka and figure out where she's going. She's disgorged from the ship, and just like in the beginning of this season when she and Rex are going to Mandalore, and he brings a jetpack and forgets one for her, and so she's kind of jumping down to the surface of Mandalore. She does something really similar here. And she's kind of jumping around trying to keep an eye on Rex, who eventually gets the ship started and gets it righted. And eventually, after literally hanging by her fingernails at one point, she gets into the shuttle. She and Rex are safe for the moment. And you can just tell they're in utter and complete shock over what has happened. So both of them are safe, but they're in very deep psychological and physical shock.
On the ground, you see the shuttle and the crashed ship.
Then you see Rex putting some tools back in the shuttle. And Ahsoka is standing alone. And you see that she's standing in front of a makeshift cemetery. She and Rex buried all the clones. And they created a cemetery by taking all of their helmets and sticking them in the ground with, sorry, I'm getting emotional. They stuck sticks into the ground and put all of the clones' helmets on the sticks, creating a clone cemetery. And you can see Jesse's, you can see all of the clones, and you can see the helmets that just a couple of episodes before, the clones had painted to honor Ahsoka. They had painted it like her face and her coloring. And that moment for me, you can tell it was very emotional because she had so much love for the clones. And up until Order 66, they had so much love and respect for her that was a really, really heartfelt moment for me. And then Ahsoka drops one of her lightsabers, her Anakin newly refurbished lightsabers. And remember, these last 4 episodes took place over a very short period of time. So it wasn't that long ago that she saw Anakin and Obi-Wan. And at this point in the timeline, he's either already Darth Vader or just becoming Darth Vader, as she and Rex are burying the rest of the clones. And so Ahsoka leaves her lightsaber to give the impression that she was also killed during this. And
we cut to another ship landing. Not much time has passed. We see soldiers working, droids, those Imperial scouts that we saw in Hoth from The Empire Strikes Back, and other activities.
then you see Darth Vader standing next to the wreck of the ship in front of the makeshift cemetery. He stands there for a few moments, and then he reaches down into what is snow, maybe a few inches of snow, and he picks out Ahsoka's lightsaber. And at the end, Darth Vader is looking up at the sky, where you see the type of bird flying around that Ahsoka is associated with. If you have seen Rebels, or even if you've seen earlier episodes of the Clone Wars, you know that there is a bird that she's associated with. And I don't know if it's that bird or if it's just another one, but that bird is flying around over the cemetery. And as you see Darth Vader holding Ahsoka's lightsaber and looking up at the sky, if you look closely, they're Anakin's eyes. You can still see Anakin's eyes as they're following the bird and holding Ahsoka's lightsaber. And then it cuts to black. And it's the end of the Clone Wars.
The very last scene with Ahsoka and Rex is rife with pain, heartbreak, and even respect.
I think that between Ahsoka refusing to kill clones if she didn't have to, which, let's be clear, she did have to, but she could have done much, much worse. And of course, most of the clones died anyway in the crash. I think that between that and Ahsoka burying all the clones and then standing there, dropping her lightsaber hilt as though she's buried with them, and I think a part of her is buried with the clones. It's the ultimate act of respect for Rex and for Rex's brothers. And I don't know if this was how Clone Wars was always supposed to be, but this was Ahsoka's show. Yeah, we learned a lot about Anakin, and for me, it made Anakin a more complete character, and kind of Obi-Wan too, because we learned that Obi-Wan kind of a jerk a lot of the time. But this was Ahsoka's show, and her growth from the minute we see her step off that ship and tell Anakin, yeah, no, Master Yoda wanted me to be your Padawan, to the end where we see her leave the clones and everything in between. It's just such an incredible growth arc. And as you would like to point out, I think it was a pretty good hero's journey too. Star Wars is full of them. And I believe that Ahsoka had a beautiful hero's journey.
This episode brings the Clone Wars saga to a close. Do you think we're going to see Ahsoka pop up in the future in the expanded universe?
My understanding is that Rosaria Dawson is going to be playing Ahsoka Tano in The Mandalorian, in the live action Disney Plus TV show, The Mandalorian. However, she is not going to have a major plot line. I've heard rumors, or I've read, I should say, I've read rumors that the Mandalorian and Ahsoka and perhaps Sabine Wren from Rebels all run into each other during an adventure, because as you know, if you watched Rebels, Ahsoka and Sabine are looking for Ezra. So that's allegedly the way that she's going to come to the Mandalorian. Now, there's also going to be an Obi-Wan TV show, live action with Ewan McGregor. Yay! So the question becomes, did Ahsoka and Obi-Wan ever cross paths again after the Clone Wars and after Order 66? So yes, we are going to see her again. We are supposed to see her in live action. Obviously, I'm hoping we see a lot of her, but I have no idea what they have planned for her completely. They have played that very close to the vest.
Well, I look forward to seeing what Disney does with these characters, and maybe we'll be talking about them again like this in the future.
Thank you for having me on the podcast and giving me this space to talk about the Clone Wars. As you know, I really love the show, and obviously, Ahsoka is a character that absolutely grabbed me by the heart. So thank you for giving me this space to talk about the Clone Wars.
That brings this 10th and final episode of Eddie's podcast to a close. Not only would I like to thank Jackie, who has been assisting me throughout every episode, my guest, Leslie Gray Streeter, today for her time and wisdom, but all of my guests over this 10-week series. It's been an interesting adventure and a whole lot of fun.
Why did you decide to do a podcast?
Well, at first that wasn't clear to me. It just seemed my intuition pulled me to do it. Maybe we were bored because of COVID, and it was sure a fun way to memorialize conversations with people who were important to me or causes that I really believed in. But sometimes when you follow your bliss and you accept a call to adventure, that's really a pathway to something bigger. And now it appears that it is very clear that I will be doing something in my profession that will require a 1-hour video presentation. So in a way, these 10 episodes has given me an opportunity to learn how all of this equipment works, and in a way to get all of those technical bugs out before we actually do this in a way that is more of a professional presentation of the materials. So another example, if you follow your bliss, sometimes opportunities or doors open where before there were only walls.
I'm so glad that I could be of assistance to you during this journey, and I hope that we are able to do more podcasts, perhaps not divorce law related in the future, especially with season 2 of The Mandalorian coming up. And yes, that is a little bit of a hint.
Hint acknowledged. And at this point, we would like to sign off from season 1 of Eddie's podcast. And I thank everybody for tuning in. And until our next episode, do something that matters.